Hey guys, Kevin, the Mac expert here, with a video comparing the first generation iPod Touch to the second generation iPod Touch. So on the left we have the first generation one, which is mine, and on the right we have the second generation one, which is my dad's. The first generation one is an 8GB, and the second generation one on the right is a 16GB version. And they're both running the same OS, 2.2.1, and in this video I'd like to compare some of the differences between the first generation and the second generation. So I'll go ahead and start by showing you a view of the side right here. Man, it's kind of hard to see. You can see they're both very, very thin. However, the second generation one is slightly thinner than the first generation. Same thing on the top, sleep and wake button on both. I can flip it over and show the back. The backs are similar, same like glossy sort of finish, the aluminum backing, which, prone to fingerprints and such. The Wi-Fi receiver is a little bit different here. This one's sort of rounded, more stylized here, and this one's just sort of like square rounded on the edge up there. So that one's just a little bit more rounded. And I just have the sticky here to cover up my dad's address. Internet safety. Gotta be so careful these days. And on the bottom, same thing on the bottom. iPhone connecting input right there. And iPhone connecting right there. And also the 3.5mm headset jack. Same thing on the bottom. Oops. And they both have, the same OS. So they both have the same OS. You can all have, a bunch of apps on them. So same thing there. As for battery life, they're very similar. However, the first generation battery is a little bit weaker than the second generation. However, I think that's just a fact of battery charge cycles. The first one is older, the second generation is newer, and hasn't had as many load cycles on the battery. So very similar battery life, nothing really different there. So I'll go into Safari and I'll show you a comparison of the Wi-Fi real quick. And now I'll be doing a quick test of Safari. The first generation is on the left and the second generation is on the right. Same Wi-Fi, same web address. So here we go. I'm going to try and push the button at the same time. And the page on the right, the second generation iPod Safari loads up a little bit quicker than the first generation. So just a simple test right there. So continuing the review, the screen is the same, 3.5 inches. The resolution is the same. However, the first generation iPod Touch, the screen actually seems a bit brighter than the second generation. I have both brightness settings around half, and the first generation one seems quite a bit brighter. So just a little bit of just a difference there. Also, I'd like to point out that when the first generation sold, the 8GB version was $299, and for the second generation one, the 8GB version is $229, and the 16GB version is $299 of the second generation. So a price drop there. And also, so, very similar. However, the second generation has a built-in speaker, which you can adjust on the side right here, and you have the volume. And the speaker actually, the sound comes out from right here. The speaker isn't great, but it's pretty good, and it's better than not having one on the first generation. So, a little bit better there. And so, overall, there's not much else I can talk about. They're very, very similar. They're running the same OS, similar battery life. The Wi-Fi is a little bit faster on the second generation one. The battery life is similar. However, this has a built-in speaker, which is great. And also, appearance-wise, the second generation one actually looks a bit better because it has this aluminum silver look along the side, while this just has the black look around the side. So the second generation one looks a bit better. But overall, very, very similar. So anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Be sure to subscribe if you like my videos. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.